friends which are your favorite episodes, and they tell us a few. We'd hear more and more and more. And then we had our own, and even then we couldn't get in everything that we wanted, even close to what we wanted. So it was very hard to get in, all of the sort of greatest hits that people would consider the greatest hits. There's certain ones like the avocado-eating dog. I mean, I knew when they asked me to make this film, there was no way we were going to leave the avocado-eating dog on the cutting room floor. That was not going to happen.
Or the lint lady.
Or the lint lady. There's certain ones which are just so iconic. There are certain ones that I really wish we could have found a way to get in, but we couldn't quite. Like the one with the elephant trainer. He spent time with an elephant trainer at the San Diego Zoo in one episode, and then came back and visited him years later after the trainer had retired and went back to the elephant. And the recognition between the elephant and the trainer after years away is breathtaking. It's amazing, and I wish we could have gotten more of that. We got a little bit of that. So the body of work is astonishing.
Yeah. One thing about Muehlhauser that interested me, and I've talked to people about him, and I had met him a few times. He was the nicest person you ever can meet. He always made it seem like everything was a surprise in his episodes, but he was really well prepared. He knew just what he was going to do.
Yeah, he really did. That was part of his trick, I think, was he would walk into a place looking like he just got off the, fell off the turnip truck, like in the Simpsons episode. But he really spent hours preparing for researching the background of these places, whatever it may be, the persimmon orchard or the mattress factory or the lint lady. He researched, but then when he walked through the door, he seemed like he just sort of accidentally stumbled on a place. As it turns out, there were many times that he did, in fact, really stumble on a place as well, but most of the time he did very careful research, but wanted to give off the impression that he just sort of rolled off the turnip truck. It was very, very effective. It disarmed people enormously. And they felt very comfortable and relaxed with him instantly because he seemed like he was just genuinely wanted to know everything, even though, in fact, he often knew a lot more than he let on.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that surprised me about Muehlhauser is he would go up to a total stranger or somebody he wanted to interview and ask them all about his life, but he never told anybody about his life. He was a very private person.
Yeah, he was very private. As the producer Phil Noyes was talking about, when the camera stopped, he stopped. He was not public Muehlhauser. He was private Muehlhauser, and he really wanted to keep that separate. I think for his own kind of sanity. Like there's a line in here where he comes up to someone in a restaurant. And he says, "Tell me what you're having for lunch." And he says, "Oh no, I met you. I want to talk about that." He says, "No, I don't want to talk about that. Tell me what you're having for lunch." He always deflected attention away from himself.
Is that why you left out his personal life?
Yeah.
He left it out, when he was alive?
Yeah, I know about his personal life. I mean, a bit. I knew him a little bit personally, and it didn't seem relevant to what we were trying to get at, which was really in this film his working methods. What was unique and special about his broadcast talent?
How's he going to be remembered in the industry?
I mean, I can't think of any other. I've been in the TV and documentary world for many years, and I've never come across anyone who has anything close to his unique style, which we talked about, his way of touching people. No one touches people. No one turns on the cameraman and says, "Hey, come over here and get this." I mean, just everything he did. He would do entire shows without any edits. If you guys noticed in the Frank Sinatra film and the motel film that we saw beforehand, you can go minutes and minutes and minutes go by without any edits. He was editing while he was on location, and that's because he was so hyper prepared. He knew exactly where he was going to walk around the room. So he was a real genius inside the camera. When the camera was on, there's no one else like him. It was amazing.
Yeah. How unusual is it? You never see the creator of The Simpsons on film or on television. So how hard was it to get him? Because he was a huge fan.
He was a huge fan. Matt Groening never talks to the press, even if it's a big Simpsons anniversary. I mean, every once in a while he'll do things in public, but it's very rare. He's very shy. And so we thought we had no chance. But I knew he was a Huel fan. And so we reached out to him, and his people called back, a couple hours after we sent the email saying, he'd love to do it. When do you want to come by? And we were really shocked. It was great to get him, because he obviously, he made fun of him like a lot of people did, but he also had a real affection for him, which I think is clear.
Yeah. What is Chapman University going to do with his archives? And why do you pick that university?
You know, as the president of Chapman, Jim Doty, said, about a year before he died, it was very Huel. The whole story is very Huel. He went to the city of Orange, which is a beautiful historic town in Orange County. It's near Santa Ana. And he went there and he did a whole segment about the city of Orange, but didn't mention the good-sized university that sits in the middle of Orange. And so Jim Doty was watching the piece about Orange, expecting to see wonderful things about Chapman, and there was nothing. There was no mention of it, as if it wasn't there, which is so strange. And so Jim Doty called him and said, "Hey, what's up? You did this piece about our wonderful little town, but you forgot us. What's wrong?" And so he said, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry." And he said, "Why don't you come down? We'll have lunch and I'll show you around the campus." And they just struck a bond. And Jim Doty, who's the president of Chapman, where I teach, is an incredibly charming, incredibly persuasive guy. And he got him, they talked, and then they developed a friendship that was strong enough that he wanted to leave all of his, not all of his shows, a number of his shows to Chapman. He didn't have kids. And
what surprised you most when you went through the archives? What did you come away with and you say, I had no idea Uelhauser was like that, or he did this?
I think the lack of edits, just the fact that he did these shows intact, was so incredible. And also, when you're looking at footage, you see the show that ends up on the air, but you're also seeing the outtakes, the material that doesn't get on the air. And I was really struck by how he was really so curious, and he had so much of the same personality as he was getting ready for a show as the material that got on the show. When he was just talking with people before the cameras were rolling, he was the exact same. And that's why the cameraman said you never turn off the camera when Huel was around. You just had it always rolling because you never knew when something was going to come up.
Yeah, I think it was amazing that he went from Tennessee to New York. Because I remember when he was in New York, because I was in New York.
Yeah, New York was really brief. You have a good memory.
Well, we used to make fun of him. Yeah, we thought, oh, who's this person? But
Yeah, his New York episode was really brief, and people watch this film and they say he was in New York, but it was really brief. And I think he always, to be honest, had his sights set on L.A. Mm-hmm. New York he did fine there, but it was not his home.
Yeah. Now, when did this film? The film premiered Thanksgiving Day, right, on KCET?
On KCET, yeah.
Yeah, and now has it played at festivals? I mean, what do you want to do?
Yeah, played at a lot of festivals in the fall, and we're going to be doing more festivals with it. A lot of screening events around the state. We hope to screen it in the Capitol for legislators, and hope to screen it at different historical societies and national parks. We hope to do a good distribution for it in the state, and also in Tennessee. So it's already aired in Tennessee and a lot of PBS affiliates.
Will his TV shows keep showing? I mean, they were always timely. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, KCT shows them at 7 nights a week at 7 p.m. and they will never run out of work. We have John Mazer here from KCT. It could be years before you have to do the same show, John.
Still one of our highest rated shows. I mean, truthfully. And we show Jeff's film maybe 2 or 3 times a year as a special event, and it's really hugely popular. It's great. And we just showed the Jacaranda episode because, in fact, the LA Times, I guess, Jacarandas are now in uber bloom, and it was it's fantastic. Just seeing that 10 days ago, I think.
Yes. Anybody have a question? Anybody want to know about Uelhauser? Come on.
I want to acknowledge someone here. Shanice, if you could raise your hand. She's a Huel fanatic. She has a blog called Where Would Huel Go? And she spends weeks and weeks touring around the state going to Uelhauser locations. She and I just did an interview on All Things Considered a few months ago. And she's, so if you have any questions about episodes, she might even be better to talk to than
Where
I
would
am.
you go?
He would go all over. I actually, as I said, Jeff, earlier, I have spent about the last 5 weeks just touring around California. I'm going to do a complete circle. I should hit Calexico tomorrow. So I'm going to try to do a complete circle around California and make it back to LA.
Who is his audience?
Who is his audience? Well, you know what? KCT is kind of an older skewing station, even though in our new we're trying to get younger as well, kind of KCRW-ish. And I really think, I mean, there's a young man here who did his project on Huell Hauser. I think he's a 3rd or 4th grader, and that was fantastic. And I think because that Huell is available 7 nights a week on
you want to stand up
KCET.
if you're here? Yeah. Oh, he's saying, hey, hi.
All right, you know, that's so cool. I mean, to me, he's like who the California Gold Scholarship could go to 10 years later at Chapman.
What's your name?
Jonathan.
So tell us about your project.
Well, I had to do a biography report, and I chose to do Huell Hauser, and I just really love Huell Hauser.
Why do you love Huell Hauser? What made you love him?
He shows amazing places about California.
And did you watch it by accident one day, like most people do?
Kind of.
That's terrific. Well, good for you. Maybe you'll be the next Huell Hauser. Howdy. Say howdy.
Howdy, I'm Huell Hauser.
That's great. I'm so glad you came. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Anybody else have a question?
I have a question.
This is the movie gal. She has tough ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just want to know if any of your students were discovering him for the first time and what their experience was.
Yeah, my students used to say, Huell Hauser, I think my grandfather is a real fan, because they go, oh, no, or, you know, father or mother. Yeah, a lot of them were discovering him for the first time. And I work in a film school. The film school is about 1,500 students, and a lot of them are interested in broadcast news. And they're just kind of blown away by his style, because they you know, they see what's out there. There's nothing, they know there's nothing out there like him. By the way, I think there's a real gap if anybody is interested in, you know, wants to be the next Huell Hauser. I think the state needs a storyteller like him. Doesn't have to be a he, by the way. Could be a she. Can be, you know, any age. And I hope someone steps up to the plate. Yeah. Yeah, I hope someone wants to step up to the plate. I think it would be, great. We need Huell Hauser. He died a little over 2 years ago. Here in Palm Springs, and we need another storyteller like him. Question?
But hold on. Does he have a star on the Walk of Fame in Palm Springs?
I'm sorry, I don't know that. Does anybody here know that?
He doesn't?
No, not yet.
That's silly.
Not yet. That's the glass is half full answer. Not yet.
Not yet.
Perhaps that will.
Anybody else? Okay, here we go.
Did he ever go behind the camera that you know of?
As a producer, you mean, or cameraman?
Or just out on a shoot? Did you just grab the camera and say, hey, this is what I like? Or hey,
Oh,
let me just try it?
You know, a little bit, just curiosity, but not really. He had really expert cameramen. He had cameramen who stayed with him for a really long time.
Right. How was his relationships with those guys? And then how many cameramen had fun with him? I mean, got to experience him for the time that they did?
Yeah, he had, for a career that lasted some 30 years, around 82 to 2012, about 30 years, he had a shockingly small number of cameramen. He had Luis, he had Cameron. Just the two of them were for more than half of his career. He started out, he had a few others, but those were the two that were the main cameramen for his career. Also, Phil Noyes, his producer, was his producer for 19 years, which is amazing. So he had very few producers. And then Ryan Morris was his producer at in his last few years. So he had a really small team, and he was extremely loyal, and he worked with them year after year after year.
Okay, the next Huell Hauser has a question.
Did he ever do one on Alcatraz?
Yeah, he did do an episode on Alcatraz. Yeah, it's excellent. I want to say too that if you guys want to see some episodes, they're all archived. Not they're all, but most of them are archived on the Chapman University website. Go to the Huell Hauser archive, and you can watch episodes. So Alcatraz, I'm quite certain, is one of those that's on the website. So if you want to do binge viewing of Huell Hauser episodes, go to the Chapman University website, Huell Hauser archive, and you can see that one. Yeah, the Alcatraz one is really good. It's a fun episode. Hope you get to see it.
I really enjoyed that song that he sang, California, Here I Come. I'd like to know more about that, when he did it, why he did it, how he did it, who the people were.
Oh, at the very end. Yeah, that was with a music school here in Los Angeles. They invited him to come down and sing it with them. It was actually a promotional video for that school. So, but it just happened to work really well. You know, they brought a lot of energy in him, that rock and roll version of it.
Where exactly was that Jacaranda Street?
It was somewhere in Midtown. I can't remember.
Right here. You tell them what city.
Oh, she knows. Do you know what street it was?
So, just by looking at the trees, I had to track down the one in South LA. So I found Francis's house, and I found that tree. I believe it's Palm Drive, that's in Beverly Hills.
Palm Drive, Beverly Hills.
Is where he ends at the end.
Okay, I thought it was more in Midtown. Okay, so Palm Drive.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of Hancock Parky.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I thought it was, in that Hancock Park, Midtown. But Shanice knows her Huel, so I'm sure she's right. Palm Drive.
I have a little recollection that Morgan Neville, who just won an Oscar for 20 Feet from Stardom, did he work with Huel at one time?
Yeah, he did. He worked with them before Phil Noyes, a ways back, just for a short amount of time. But that's yeah, very, very good. He directed 20 from Stardom, which won the Oscar last year, and he had worked briefly with Huel. Yeah.
We have a question over here.
Okay, who did his research? How did he get, ideas, or was it letters and emails coming in? And then did he have researchers on staff, or did he do his own research? Yeah,
his producers did the bulk of the research, as did he, and he would get calls from people saying, "Hey, will you come and talk to me? I've got a amazing donut store, whatever it may be." So he got a lot of calls. He did research. His producers did the bulk of the research with him. He was on the road a lot. You remember when he went on the road, he had his cameraman, but the producers stayed back, so they were fielding more stories while he was away. He'd be gone for a few days a week, and they'd be back in the office researching. And sometimes they would hire extra people, researchers, to work with them.
I mean, he basically had two producers and Ryan and one assistant. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. He had basically had two producers, and Ryan was kind of his assistant, and that was it. And then his cameraman, Louis or Cameron. And then Michael Garber, who edited after the fact, but it literally was a staff of 5 people. I mean, it was not like 29 people.
Yeah, his office in Crossroads of the World, his last office was, teeny.
This guy made a living showing us all these wonderful places to go. Some of us have tried to follow his footsteps and even take vacations there. People come all the way in the Baghdad Cafe episode, halfway across the world. Did this gentleman ever take time to go on vacation himself, and where was his favorite spot that you can think of? Yeah,
he went to Cuba. He did a show there in Cuba, so I guess you could call that a working vacation. He went to Hawaii every once in a while, but his producer said that he really liked to stay in California. He traveled a lot in California. But he went to Tahiti, he went to Hawaii.
He loved the Cook Islands. He went there many times. I don't know, they're sort of by Tahiti. He did one show on the Cook Islands, but he loved the quietness of it all.
Yeah. I mean, in the documentary, you say he was a good businessman. Did he die a very wealthy man?
I don't know what his net worth was per se, but he had some really nice properties. He had a property in 29 Palms, a property in Palm Springs, nice apartment in West Hollywood. So yeah, I think he had some money. He had some very generous sponsors for his shows, and then, as the producers talked about, he kept the expenses down. Yeah. So I think he died with some money. I don't know if I would say it was a massive fortune, but a medium-sized fortune.
He did okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the turnip truck, the whole thing, he did okay.
Yeah, he did okay.
He did okay.
People tell you look like Huel.
Howdy! Yeah, well, no, I should have dressed like Huel. Yeah. But I didn't fall off a turnip truck. Anybody else? Okay, back here.
Do we know how many of these films he actually produced?
Yeah, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of close to about 2,500, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, he did multiple shows. He did California's Gold is probably his most famous, but he also did Visiting. He would also do multiple episodes on the missions, on Palm Springs, on the beach. I mean, so he did all kinds of strands. He had an incredible leeway for a TV personality to do series as he felt the need. In KCET, his home station, were very supportive of what he wanted to do. Especially because he got the funding, you know, on his own. So he really had an incredible amount of latitude, and he just did a huge volume of shows of different lengths.
The show was very spontaneous, and he's obviously a really good sport. Was there ever an incident where he just got annoyed, or just threw the mic down, walked away, and said, "I don't want any part of this"? Or was he always excited about just about anything?
You know, I don't think when the cameras were rolling he ever really had that, but his producers told me he could be frustrated in the field when things weren't going well, or if he felt like his research or his team's research wasn't giving him exactly what he needed. He could get frustrated, for sure, but you never saw that when the camera was rolling. You do see that in the outtakes. He had high expectations, especially because he was on such a tight schedule. He could do a couple of shows, he could shoot a couple of shows in a day. He did very often. So he needed everything to be working on time. You know, as we said, he was a Marine. He expected order. And he was a very hard, disciplined worker. So he could get frustrated, yeah.
Jeff, we have to wrap it up, but excuse me. Howdy. How do you want us to remember Yul Hauser after, you know, you went through this whole process of making a documentary? What's your big memory of Yul?
Well, I'm a native Californian, but I love that my family's been here for a few generations, but I love that someone who comes from across the country can teach me and people that I know, you know, love the state so much about our state, and look at something that I appreciate and I do love and don't take for granted. He gave us a special sense of how unique and extraordinary California is. And he opened our eyes to something that we all thought we were familiar with, which I think is an amazing gift.
Can you just give us the website again if people want to go home and, you know,
yeah, absolutely. It's really easy. It's www.chapman.edu. And it's the Chapman University website where you can find the Yul Hauser archives. You put it in the search, and they have them all accessed there. So Alcatraz and a lot of your favorites are on there.
Okay, well, let's thank